Right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this amazing invited panel that I've been looking forward to for quite a while now. It features 5 esteemed leaders in the field of ELT. We're very fortunate to have all of them here. And even, well, I don't know if I'd say even better, but just as great, they are all kind of nearing the end of their formal careers in ELT, which means not that they're going to be finished, but that they have enough knowledge and experience to look back and share their insights with us this afternoon. So I wonder, let's start out with each of you just telling us a little bit about yourself. I don't have a preset way of going, but we'll go in the order that I see you. Maybe Dr. Yeum, could you go first, please?
I am currently the director of Sungmyeong TESOL program at Sungmyeong Women's University, and I have served in many different type of positions in the TESOL field. I'm so glad to see all of you here, other panelists and the renowned people in the audience as well.
Thank you. And Jukyang?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And it's just a great honor to be part of this wonderful group. And my name is Jukyang Park. I'm a professor in the Department of English at Honam University, South Korea. And I have a little less than 2 years before my retirement. And I have a mixed feeling about retirement. I guess it'll be happy and sad. But out of about 30 years, my teaching career, I've done a lot of different things, and I'm going to share that with you a little bit later, but I am happy to be in this beautiful and wonderful, I guess, the circle of ELT. And so I will be looking forward to sharing my story with you and hearing from other panelists. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Yilin, could you please?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for TESOL and for inviting me to be on this amazing panel with this amazing group of colleagues. And also greetings to everyone who are in this session, to interact with us about the important topics that we all care. I'm Yilin San. I'm just retired. So yes, before my retirement, I was a professor at the Seattle colleges in the United States in Seattle. I've been in the ELT field for close to 38 years and also have truly enjoyed all kinds of things that I've got involved. I was the past president of TESOL International Association and the first female Chinese English bilingual professionals in TESOL's 50 years history to serve as the president of TESOL. And also recently I just got recognized by the US Department of State as one of the 30 English language specialists who have made a contribution to English language teaching field. So I'm so happy to be here. Yes, I also have my personal stories, setbacks and challenges, and I'm willing to share that as well. Thank you. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Very cool. Eileen, please.
Yes, hi everyone, and I am in Kuwait, where I have lived since 1984, and fell into teaching by accident, but it's my passion. Teaching English language learners is something really, really special. I'm honored to be on this panel today and to share my stories. I retired in 2019, and I can tell you all there is life after retirement. But luckily, I have kept my passion for education, and so my fingers are still in the pot doing all kinds of things, and I'm looking forward to sharing some of those things with you today.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Sterling, please.
I wish wish we could do it face to face and talk about all sorts of things. But anyway, I'm Sterling Plata. I'm from De La Salle University. I'm a burnout survivor, and I look forward to retirement. Yes. I'm a growth mindset advocate, and also I champion education for sustainable development. I'm also a board member of the Philippine Association for Language Teachers. Happy to meet all of you, and it's an honor to be here.
Fantastic. So these are our amazing panelists. I'm very happy to welcome them all. Now, I was wondering, looking back on your amazing careers, what has been the most rewarding or gratifying experience? Should I call on you one by one, or do you just want to start?
I can start. I have a little bit of a story, but it all comes back to seeing those aha moments when we have our students in the classroom. And I was a teacher and an administrator for 25 years, but I really loved my time in the classroom. And so the aha moments included this one story that I'll never forget. I was teaching at a local private university, intensive English, and the students here, the transition from government schools where the English program is not very strong, and then to English-based university, and they sometimes feel that lack of confidence in their abilities. And so I do use a lot of questioning with my students, tiered questioning to kind of pull the information out of them and increase their confidence that they really know the answer, but they're just afraid to say it and make a mistake. So at the end of one semester, a student came to my office and was working on an essay. And at one point, she looked up at me and she said, "Can I tell you something? Miss, if you won't get upset." And I said, "Sure, yeah, go ahead and share with me." And she said, "Well, remember at the beginning of the semester, you used to ask us a lot of questions, and all throughout the question, we would ask you questions and you would ask us back questions, and all we wanted was the answer." And I said, "Yes." She said, "Well, my friend and I," they had made friends. They were sitting next to each other the whole semester. She said, "My friend and I, we were really frustrated. We just wanted you to answer the questions. And we couldn't figure out why you were always asking us questions when we would ask you the question. But," she said, "now I understand." And it was like, wow, yes, that's what I wanted. Hear the grammar in your head so that you can make your own edits. Question yourself so that you can answer the questions confidently. So yes, those aha moments will stay with me forever.
Fantastic.
Can I go next then? Yeah, let me share some of the photos that I prepared for you. Let's see. To me, the moment is not just one time, but I guess it's throughout my ELT career. And I have been the first person in many ways. So for example, I was the founding member and the founding president of Jeolla chapter of Korea TESOL. And after I became the founding president of Jeolla chapter, which is one of the chapters of Korea TESOL, within 2 years, the chapter was the second largest chapter in Korea TESOL, and I became the second vice and first vice and then president of Korea TESOL. And this photo was taken in 1997. And as you can see, I am very young. I was 30.
You're still young.
Yeah, I was 38 years old, and which means I was the very first young female president of national organization in Korea. And I think it may be the first one in whole Asia, because Asia is a pretty much age sensitive culture. So as you can see, these are all very experienced and the world leaders. We have Denise Maury, a TESOL president, and Madeleine Duvivier as IATEFL president, and Professor Henry Widdowson. And all these people were kind of my personal mentors that I learned from about organizing the association and all. So, and then out of those knowledge and information that I learned from my personal mentors, working with them through different organizations, I guess the second thing that I did was the serving as the president of Applied Linguistics Association of Korea. And then during my presidency, I hosted the third East Asia ILA, working closely with the Chinese and Japanese associations. So which was another some sort of innovative event that I worked about. And then the third one is Asia TEFL, and I was a founding member, and also throughout 20-year history of Asia TEFL, I've been on the executive council, and currently I'm the president-elect of Asia TEFL. So these are just a few examples of, I guess, my work as an ELT professional, which mostly as an initiator or founder or developer or creator. So I think my most gratifying moments are all these works that I've done for the first time in the history of some group or organizations. And so I'm very proud of myself having done that. And then I guess that's not only myself, but my students and my community. And I think I contributed to making people happier. Right.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Park, for your great accomplishment. Why don't I go next to say something about my own experience, most challenging but still So I really appreciate this kind of opportunity to go back and reflect a little bit, to share some story with you and others. In fact, one of the most challenging and gratifying moment was when I started serving at the TESOL International Association as one of the board of directors. At that time, the upper left corner photo showed me at the TESOL board inauguration ceremony in 2015. I was naive and innocent enough what it meant, right? And the others were taken with other, board members or former president and current president. At that point in the year of 2018, at the Seattle Convention, I was happy at the end because I was rotating off after serving for 3 years. You see Ilin Son in one of the photos. And, I hope my story could set up an example for younger professionals. That's why I'm going to briefly describe what happened to me. So 12 years prior to that ceremony, in 2003, I attended my first TESOL convention. I was so amazed by the huge size, quality, professional gathering. That's why I was so inspired. I wanted to, really belong to that association. But I had to, find the right medium to make my inspiration some reality, right? among others, I mean, of course, many variables had helped me to make my dream come true. But among others, Dr. Jody Cronder, former TESOL president or present AAAS, she nurtured my dream, and she encouraged me to run for the board position. But still, I was not sure. And I had to do some reality check. Could I make it for the board position or not? And at that point, I ran into Strada. You must know her. And she was serving on the board. And she was a really similar case. Living outside of the USA, non-native speaker, and former president of Thailand TESOL. So she, told me, it was like a really workable example for me at that point. So on my second try, I made it to that position, but still at that point, I was so naive and, innocent. And I was not sure what kind of challenges I was going to face. Anyway, my mission was accomplished at that point. And I felt like, wow, I made it. But life is always tough. And again, still we are tougher. And thanks to my experience, 3 years experience on the board, my AQ, adversity quotient, and adaptability quotient went up to help me to solve better in the TESOL field. And at the same time, I had a better understanding of global leader common core competences. Global leadership literature kept telling us, they keep telling us, common cores are cognitively complex, emotionally resilient, optimistic, non-judgmental, self-confident, or tolerant to ambiguity. For sure, even though it was such a challenging experience to serve, in the USA, anyway, still serving there, helped me to enhance my cross-cultural competence and my understanding of the whole TESOL field. In fact, I had ample opportunities, many years of experiences serving at a leadership position in Korea, including at TESOLs, but still the issues were quite different. Truly, the serving in an Asian country or serving, for TESOL International Association, that's why it was such challenging. But in the end, it was such a gratifying experience. And looking back, I can tell, some, decisions, those decisions, and some roles that I took, led me to my position here with other panelists. So hopefully my case could set up an example for younger professionals later. Thank you.
Okay, I think, yeah, I will be the next. I'm so inspired by all my, panelist colleagues sharing their, gratifying experience, wonderful photos. So originally I didn't prepare some photos, but fortunately I have a PowerPoint on my computer. So I'm going to share a little bit of my personal story as well. So let me share screen and, okay, let me share screen. Let's see if I can find it. So just the basic. I cannot see anything. What is going on? Okay, Share sound, desktop one, maybe allow Zoom. Okay, open system preference. If I cannot share screen, I will just talk, no problem.
Yeum,
Can you see?
Try it
I can
without
try it.
sharing the
Okay.
sound. Without sharing the sound, it should be okay. With the sound, it has all these extra
Let
settings.
me
you need to
see. I
approve.
think I should have this is interesting. This share screen, I have the screen right here, but I just don't know. Can you see? You cannot see anything,
yet.
right? No. Mhm. Share screen, because if I share screen, I don't see anything here. Allow Zoom to share your screen. Yes, I allowed. This system is a little bit different, but nothing happens.
Okay. Well, tell you what, Sterling, did you have a PPT you wanted to share or just talking for now?
I have a PPT.
Oh, sorry. No, for Sterling, because maybe you can keep working on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes,
Sterling.
get somebody. Yes, excellent. Yes, that's a great idea. Yes, yes.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
Oh, you're sharing your screen too. Okay.
Okay, is it my turn while Yeum is looking for
No,
her?
you go ahead. You go ahead. I don't want to take too much time. Yes, you go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, just the PowerPoint, I think. Yeah, good. I'm going to mute myself. So.
Okay, so the turning point in my career was my training in RELC, and my mentor is here, Dr. Willie Renandia, in 2000. And from then, I became an advocate of assessment reform, and I started analyzing local, national policies on classroom assessment. And then the Department of Education invited me to become a specialist during the reading literacy project in relation to the dismal performance of our students in PISA in 2018. Another turning point in my life was realizing that, because I had a burnout experience, and so I started asking myself, so what's my mission? What's my mission? And so I found out that I can do something with the problems that we are encountering. For example, the Philippines has ranked fourth in the list of countries most affected by disasters. I'm sure you know that. And so what can we do? So I introduced education. I introduced sustainable development goals in my university, and incorporated sustainable development goals because I wanted the youth to be to mobilize the youth and do something, for sustainable development. And so we organized advocacy for where students would meet non-government organization representatives. This one, she's from an organization of people with multiple disabilities, and they would talk about their advocacies and invite students to join them to be their partners. This was the last forum where this tribal group talked about their organization and how our students can support them in their advocacy communication. So, all in all, it's a great opportunity to look back, because in reality, I would always think that I was not doing anything or not doing enough. But thanks for this activity, Lindsay, that I was able to look back and see, my small contributions to the field, and all because of my mentor here, Dr. Willie Renadia.
That's very nice. It's very nice that we have different mentors and inspirations that lead us on these surprising paths. Yeum, any luck? Well, let's move on for now, and maybe she'll be able to share her photos with us soon. Sure. The next question is,
Sure, yes. Yes. Okay. My gratifying experience, I think earlier I mentioned the two things. That's really very gratifying and also very rewarding. Serving as the president of TESOL International Association, as the first female Chinese English bilingual. I didn't use the NNEST, non-native English speaking, professionals for a purpose. Of course, sometimes I use NNEST on purpose and then just to make a point. And also being recognized as one of the 30 English language specialists by the US Department of State for making a long-lasting impact to the ELT program and also ELT, TESOL program in the world. Another one that I want to mention is 38 years of teaching, research, professional development in this, English language and teaching field, and then seeing all the transformations that happen over the years. That's truly gratifying. So I will just stop here and then we can move on to other things. I have the stories about how I got inspired to become a leader, that part that I will save. Maybe there will be next question. So I will share that part. Should I share now or should I save it?
Well, my next question is going to be, is there anything you've done as an educator or researcher that you consider particularly courageous or that was particularly challenging for you? So does that match with
okay.
where
I can, yeah, sure. Okay, I hope if you don't mind, I will start sharing that. I was a very shy person when I was young, never thought to become a leader. And then so about 38 years ago now, and I left China. I was born in China, grew up in China, went to university in China, became a university teacher in China for 2 years, and then got an opportunity to study in Canada. So I left China, became an international student, enrolling at OISE, the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education, University of Toronto, where a lot of well-known scholars and then people studied there and also taught us there, like Professor Jim Cummins, Meryl Swain, H.S. Stern, and I have colleagues like Dr. Ryoko Kubota was my class, we are the cohort graduate students. After that, and then so the year, and then I never thought, I just thought, well, be a good graduate student and get good grades and then maybe get a job. And then after I graduated, I got a job in a tenure track position in Seattle. And also during the study, and also as an immigrant in North America, I've witnessed the unfair treatment to people of color, to underprivileged immigrants, refugee students. And also personally, I have experienced a lot. That made me so become more talking about the social justice and then the political issues, the social political issues that concerns for bilingual education, multicultural education at that time. And then gradually I got involved with WASO, Washington Association for teaching English, for the speaker educators, speakers of WASO as the president. And then I got elected to the TESOL board of directors. It was one of the moments that a good colleague of mine who passed away, she served on TESOL board of directors. And then that was a conference in Denver. She and I shared a room. And she told me, Eileen, and she got a terminal cancer at that time. So we talked about this. She said, Eileen, you should run for TESOL president. I said, no, I'm not a president material. That she said, no, Eileen, there are so many issues in TESOL that we need to address. And the first thing that she told me, it's too bad that I wouldn't have a chance to run for TESOL president because I got this terminally ill disease, cancer. And then shortly after that, she passed away. Her words made me thinking, it's so true. She was a strong advocate for adult education. She said adult ed at that time was not on the TESOL agenda. there are so many issues TESOL should address, but it was not on the agenda. So I thought his name is Gail. Okay, I said, well, Gail was right. I need to run for president because I see in TESOL, there are so many voices that people face, look like me, sound like me, think like me, and also adult education. That was also my field as well. That was not on TESOL's agenda. Immigrant, refugee, social justice issues, that was not quite on TESOL's agenda. So I decided to run for TESOL president. And then I felt very fortunate. I got great colleagues and mentors, and then they supported me, and also the membership elected me. So I got elected to serve on TESOL board. So that was, to become a leader, you have to have that moment. Also, I feel that everybody, teachers are leaders. We should all become a leader. Another thing is, when I was a graduate student, I look at the TESOL president, that just like worshiping, oh, such a big figure. And then you just want to take a picture, you didn't want to go. And then when I became a president, I traveled around the world. I interacted with so many ELT colleagues. I always remember the moment. I love to take pictures with everybody. And then because TESOL president is also a human being. It's one of the ELT professionals, and we have no difference from any other people. Why should it make us kind of a little bit above and then untouchable? So you should be approachable. You should, just really understand what's going on in the field. So I was willing to speak up. Sometimes maybe the lone voice, but important issues, I'm not shy away. I'm not afraid of speaking up. So that's me. That's also gratifying. It's challenging, but it's gratifying. Okay, I will just stop here. Thank you.
So, can I go next?
Sorry, yes, please do, Dr. Yeum. Sorry, I was just
Okay.
going to say, Elin, it's fantastic that you took that social justice approach, because TESOL International
Right.
now has
We
continued-
need it. TESOL now still
Absolutely.
missing that voice. Yes, yeah, there
Right.
are so many issues. I think also I want to mention that the 2015, Dr. Ryoko Kubota was the convention chair, so we worked together. I love that theme, crossing borders, building bridges. That has been my, kind of mission. Really, everywhere we go, we need to remember crossing borders, building bridges, and also bring social justice, racial justice issues on top of, as the top agenda. Yeah, okay. Okay, sorry.
When I served at the TESOL, International Association of course, advocacy issues, they come out first. I mean, so it was amazing for me to have an opportunity to look at advocacy issues from many different perspectives. Otherwise, I could have looked into those diverse issues from a just Asian perspective. So, I mean, I really appreciate that opportunity. Yilin, had a chance to address those important issues. And as an educator and administrator, another grading moment, it happened when Sunmyung TESOL, the institution that I serve, we declared our 20th anniversary many years ago. And it was such a, monumental event to me. And at the same time, you see the, title TESOL Beyond. The term represent the innovative movement that I and my colleagues led together. And so TESOL Beyond, for example, as the director, I was always thinking about what's next, what we should do in the next phase to meet more, global demands in many different contexts, for example. So in the year of 2014, for example, it was all enough, but still our slogan was, let's move beyond the traditional classrooms. We started offering online, virtual, synchronous, interactive classes. At that point, it was really innovative at that point. And then our teacher trainees or teachers, they didn't appreciate that opportunity that much because it was too early. Anyway, in 2017, when we had our 20th anniversary, our slogan was, let's move beyond the cultural boundary and national borders. As you understand, our students in the language classrooms, their profiles are intensively, changing. And even in our language classrooms in Korea, we start dealing with so many students from diverse cultures. That's why we started upgrading our curriculum to address all those issues, how to nurture openness, flexibility, and global awareness among our teacher trainees. In that way, we could, nurture our language students to go beyond their own borders, to interact in the real global settings, right? So in these days, our slogan, places more emphasis on these issues. Let's move beyond the disciplinary boundary. Let's move beyond the social culture and economic distinction. And particularly during the pandemic period, we started seeing the more divisive nature of social economical issues among, our students' parents, for example. Jenny Jennings, his book title is Fatigued by School Reforms in the USA, for example. They had failed so many times in the past 50 years. And the main reason is not they didn't pay enough attention to the parents' social-economic status. So, we started emphasizing that aspect. In the post-pandemic period, we teachers will have to provide more individualized, personalized lessons and care. And then we need to pay a lot more attention on their unique social, culture, economic background as well. That's why we started, placing more emphasis on these slogans. So, their life is tough, we should be tougher, and there is no magic methodology for language teachers or any teachers or any classrooms, but we keep trying. And the way we try to nurture better qualified teachers, will inevitably make our world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yeum. Jukyung or Eileen or Sterling, would you like to address the question of what has been, what was particularly
Sure.
courageous or challenging?
Yeah, I will go next. And again, I'll show you some of my photos. As someone who teaches at a university, which is one of the regional university outside of Seoul area, you get to have these students who are not really strongly, highly motivated. So throughout my career, how to help my students get interested in learning English and relating English learning as their part of their own personal life and their personal and professional life. and the first thing that I particularly challenged was that the idea that learning English has been and still is the love of my life. I never disliked learning English, and because the fact that I could speak English, I got my life so much enriched and empowered. And I have wanted to show my students that can be part of their life. So what I did was sort of based on the idea that everyone should have some sort of talent or gift. But then unfortunately, particularly in Korean culture and context, some gifts and talents are more highly appreciated and valued, but some other gifts and talents are laughed at or even punished for. So I thought maybe we could come up with some program for those students who are not doing well in English class, but they are those who are talented in something else. So I came up with all these different programs. For example, English pop song contest. So those students who are really good singers, they sing English or American songs. So that way they could use English and then they could relate what they like and what they can do well with learning English. And then I developed this program for Korea, the students from Korea and Japan, and we had a 2-week stay in English camp. And then many of my students are not that from the rich family, so many of them can't afford going overseas to study English. So by hosting this program, I gave this opportunity to my students and some of the local kids to work with Japanese students so that they can, in a kind of natural environment, they can use English. And also, I made this program, which is English presentation contest. This is not only about academic presentation, but it's more like a talent show. So any student who has some kind of talent, they can present, but they had to use English. So again, that way they show their talent, but at the same time, they can realize how important English can be for their life to have a better life. And also I hosted some international culture fair. So I invited some local, the immigrant people to present their culture to my students. And this photo is about, I hosted a mom teacher English class, which is sort of a TESOL program for Filipino marriage immigrant women living in Gwangju, where I am based. So by educating them to be an English teacher, I helped them to get a little bit decent job in the place where they live. And also I got a chance to be a host in the English speaking radio station. And then by being able to work for this radio station, I invited some of my students as my guests so that they had this opportunity to experience being in the radio in English, and that became quite a big turning point for their life. And also my department got 5-year Korean government-funded program, so that and I was in charge of the curriculum. And then I made this international culture exchange program. And then I worked with my old classmates who I have known for many years. We studied in the States together. One in Taiwan, she's the one, and another one in Singapore. So I took my students to Taiwan and Singapore, and they had this international culture exchange opportunities, and they presented Korean culture in English. So that way they realized in what context and for their real life meaningful purpose they can use English. So for them, after that, English is not just a classroom subject, but it can be a means of their real life. So I think how to help students in my English class become happier, it's still a big challenge. And students are changing so rapidly. So I am still having problems with dealing with some students, and their personal issues are quite different from those that I had experienced before. So I'm still trying to help them in a somewhat different way. But what I'm saying is just by doing all this, oh, this is another one. During the COVID-19 pandemic period, my students were so devastated because they couldn't do anything. And they didn't know how to come up with a new way of working together. So I developed a program called the Virtual English Concert. And then I invited some of my international global friends and colleagues. And then so we met on Zoom, and we had a 1-hour program where my students made some presentations, and some of my international students talked about their own cultures. And so we had this program for 2 years. And now some of my students feel quite confident in organizing this program themselves. So I think this has been really challenging, because in order to host this kind of program, you need to make a plan, and you need to recruit some sponsors to give my students some prizes and all. And then you need to take a lot of extra time, energy, and even money. But I am happy that I have done that for my students. So I think that could give you some idea about how to help your students.
Thank you very much. And we are out of time, but I would like to get very brief closing thoughts from each of you. How would you advise the next generation of ELT leaders? How can teachers and ELT leaders make the world a better place? What would you like to leave us with? Briefly, please.
Can I go first? All right. For the young people here, or for those new teachers, leadership is not about leading organizations. It's about making a difference and championing something. What is it? The term that the term in is ikigai, no? Japanese term that means that's the reason for being. So start asking yourself, why am I here, and what is it that I want to advocate for, or I want to champion, and from there that will inspire you to wake up every day and be a leader in your own circle of influence. Thank you.
For me, there are so many ways that we can make the world a better place as language educators. So when we talk about equity and inclusion, diversity, and social justice, one of the first things that comes to my mind is the language learners that we serve. We need to be advocates for ensuring our students' voices are heard, and that our students feel seen in all the resources we use. We also need to use our voices to support initiatives that are inclusive and equitable. And when we see injustices or hear a deficit mindset around teaching English language learners, we need to speak up and speak out. And I'm so glad to hear that my fellow panelists are so involved in all of this wonderful work.
Okay, this is Yeum. My advice is for young, professionals, also my colleagues, or everybody's, embrace changes and also be courageous in taking risks, and also have a very strong commitment to equity, diversity, inclusion, And I remember, I think Anu also mentioned belonging. That's like also a very important thing. In whatever we do, keep that in mind. Mindset matters because we cultivate the growth mindset for our students, change the deficit mindset. That requires paradigm shift, but we need to do that. Also, making sure that you are the change agent. So take the opportunity and then start the transformative work now. The action needs to happen now. Don't wait for somebody else to take it for you. And that you will be so proud for what you have achieved when you reach my age, I'm sure. Don't. Another thing is do the right thing. Don't always just follow, do things right. What are the right things? Just like my earlier panelist mentioned that, what are the things that matters to you the most? What are the things that really help empower our students and change the field? Those critical issues, the critical race studies, and also all these other important things. Don't be afraid. Take the risk and form your alliance, get a mentor, and then you will be very successful. You also have us. We are here to really to support all of our young, professionals. Yeah. Thank you.
Due to time limit, do you hear me? Or
yes.
Yeah, due to time limit, I'll maybe be simple. And professional development is a lifelong journey. So let's not forget that all the teachers, including us, we have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And at the same time, sympathy and empathy are the real component that make us teachers really powerful. Only human teachers can excel in that field, particularly in this high-tech world, in the post-pandemic period. So thank you.
I think we can make the world a better one just by making people better ones. So be a better, happier one yourself, and then be an inspiration for others, including your students, through leadership and service inside and outside of your class. Thank you.
Right. Thank you all so very much, panelists. I am absolutely inspired and very motivated by this group of lifelong learners, lifelong leaders. I'm really sorry we have to keep it so short today. I think we could probably talk for hours about this topic, but don't worry, they're not going anywhere. We'll have them back again in the future, I sincerely hope. So thank you all very much for coming. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the conference, everyone.
Thank you.